Hello everyone. In a market ruled by billion-dollar giants, a small town startup dared to fight back. Yes, I'm talking about Ghar Soaps. This is the story of how Ghar Soaps went from being completely invisible to becoming one of the most talked about startups in India. Was this growth real or just clever marketing with low repeat customers? Can a handmade Ayurvedic soap really compete with multinational brands? Stay with me till the end because the answers will surprise you.
Hello, hustlers, and welcome back to the channel. In your childhood, you might have watched videos of creating soap, or you might have created one for you. And at the time, you might have thought of creating your own brand or company in this. But what if I tell you that two brothers actually did this? Yes, I'm talking about the founders of Ghar Soaps, Sayyam and Sunny. Sayyam, who is just a school dropout, and Sunny, who has completed his graduation from Christ University. And they started their own brand Ghar Soaps in 2019, not from a corporate building but from their kitchen. And in this video, I will be discussing the complete case study of Ghar Soaps and telling you the business insights and learnings from the case study of Ghar Soaps that you can actually implement in your business. So without getting delayed, let's get started. Well, the idea of Ghar Soap was not something that came into their mind at random, like चलो भाई कुछ नहीं है चलो एक soap brand बनाते हैं, but this didn't happen. Sayyam was actually facing an issue, skin-related issue that most of the people, of Indian people, usually feel, or most of the people face around the world, which is tanning, darkening of the skin, pigmentation, and various other, or acne, you can say. So these were the problem that he was facing. And at the time when he used to go out and search for the products that are actually helpful in treating, in lowering his skin diseases, he found that nothing such brand, a big brand, exists in this segment. And at that time, being a good observer and a good entrepreneur, he thought of creating his own brand in this segment. And this is the power of a great observer. And he think in a different manner. Like Steve Jobs once said, the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who actually do. So he thought of creating a brand in this segment. And at the time, nothing such brand, a natural who serves natural products exists. So what he thought was that rather than competing the market rather than competing them, what he will do is actually hold a niche, and what problem will he solve? They will actually take the remedies of our ancestors, the DIY remedies of the ancestors like turmeric, neem, and various other remedies that our dadis and dadas used to give, and collect all those remedies at one place, mix them, and just give it to you in a form of ready to use soap. And that will be very efficient for each and every person out there. And this is how Ghar Soaps was made. Ghar Soaps was built. And so in 2022, when you and I was busy watching Netflix and enjoying our life, these two brothers actually were molding soap each day and trying new recipes of to find the best combination for their product. But as you know, getting a good idea is just 10% of launching your dream company. The rest 90% is the execution that matters a lot. So, and every business has to face some early challenges when it is in its idea phase. And they also faced three major challenges. The very first was that trust deficit. Why would any person will use their product? Why would any person use their product? Because they didn't have any sort of brand visibility, or you can say brand trust in the present of people, in the minds. So they have to create the sense of, you can say, trust in the minds of people for their brand. And in the second step, they had production limitation. At that time, they were just manufacturing their soaps from their kitchen, and they have to do everything from their kitchen. They didn't have separate machinery for that. So this was the second, which was production limitation. And in the third step, and in the third challenge, they had market distribution gap. In the FMCG sector, you have a lot of you need a lot of distribution channels to actually market your product in a best and suitable manner. And if you don't have a channel, you won't succeed. You cannot create a good brand. So at the time, they made a very crucial decision. What they thought, why I'm saying their decision to be very crucial, because rather than thinking of competing those big brands that are already present in this segment, they thought of launching their own D2C brand, their own e-commerce platform, which would not only be very hectic for them, but also which would be very you can say very hard to actually manage their finances, because you at that time, if you are launching a D2C brand, direct to consumer brand, you have to manage all the everythings. Like, you have to manage your product, you have to manage your marketing, you have to manage your manufacturing of the product, and providing the services. So this is very tough for any brand in the initial stage, but they did that even though the margins are very high. But they thought of creating a D2C brand. So now they have created their own D2C brand, their own e-commerce platform. But initially their sales were very low, because of various problems. Like, they, first of all, their price point was very high. They were like the new brands, so they must have the price point to be low if they want to play in such competitive segment. But at the time, they thought of creating a very a brand which is something that actually solves the problem, rather than just at that moment. If you see the brands that were already present there, they play in a segment like they marketed their product in something, you can say, in the form of fragrance, providing fragrance to the people, or softness. No one is actually talking about giving results through soaps, but they actually did that. They marketed their product in the form of, you can say, providing results, which actually shift the mindset of people through in around their brand. And because of which they actually can now sell their product at a higher price point. And they marketed their product in removing, you can say, day-to-day issues of Indian people and various people out there, like you can say the tanning, removal of tanning, or you can say the black spots, the dark spots. So these were something that they were marketing their product in such a niche. And because of this decision, their sales started to rise. They had now 80 lakhs rupees a month sales by mid 2022. And further, by the end of 2022, their sales grew to even 1 crore a month, which is actually a, you can say, a dream of various entrepreneurs out there. But creating just a very good product is not even the solution of your every problem, because many people out there can actually create a good product. Marketing is also very crucial for scalability of that product. So there are four major marketing playbook that they actually played, and which made them so successful. First, influencers first marketing. At the time when most of the big players of that segment was actually you can say working with actors, celebrities, and showing their ads on TVs, they actually think differently. What they thought was to work with micro influencers. This step didn't help in managing their finances, but also take the most benefit of their from these influencers. Now, why I'm saying that, because they sent their product to them and asked them to get the videos of before and after results of using their product. And in the second step, they took that video and did performance marketing. Like, you must have seen their videos posted on various platforms, and their ads on various platforms, like you can say Facebook, Instagram, and various other platforms out there. And because of which they got, you can say, brand visibility at every place. And in the third step, they listed their product at each and every marketplace. You can say they listed their product in Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, and various other e-commerce platform. Because of which they got high traction, and you can say their first customers. They also got their brand visibility. At the same time, they did something that gave them an extra benefit out of any other brands competing in this segment, which is they went to Shark Tank and they pitched there in 2022, and there they got investment of 60 lakh rupees in exchange of 4% of their equity, because of which they valued they had now their brand value at 15 crore rupees, which is their market cap, the brand's market cap. And that Shark Tank, they didn't only get, you can say, the money, but also the mentorship, the brand credibility and visibility. And this helped them a lot in their initial stages. And now, when they had the first customers, they now had to make those, turn them into their loyal customers, which could only be possible by showing the results through their product. And for that, they really need to, like you can say, include their product in the habit of their customers, which would be like a very, you can say, a very challenging task for any person, for any brand. For any brand, two problems are very major that each and every brand has to face. The very first is that low repeat rates, and the second is that high customer acquisition cost. It means like how much money you are spending to actually turn one customer towards you. And these two are the factors that no brand can actually ignore them. If we have seen the numbers that only nine out of 10 businesses fail, and this is mostly because of the brands try to ignore these situation to actually deal in the future, but future never comes and your brand will actually be dead, your company will be dead one day. And to deal with this, you have to actually prove the results, and that's it. You have to prove the results to the customers, and that's it. You will have definitely a lower, you can say, lower customer acquisition cost and higher repeat rates. Now, if this is very much clear to you, let's discuss the before and after situation of this brand, Ghar Soaps. Before in 2019 and after in 2023 and plus after that. In 2019, they didn't have, you can say, production facilities or production manufacturing factories, but now they have a lot of manufacturing factories present with them. At the time, they didn't have, you can say, distribution channels. They now have a lot of distribution channels and a good e-commerce platform also. At that time, they didn't have, you can say, brand visibility or trust between the people in the minds of people, but now they also have trust as well as brand visibility among the common people. At that time, they didn't have sales. Their sales was very low, but now they have over 12 crores yearly sales, and that sale in 2015 is, I think, above that. In 2022, their brand was valued at 15 crore, and now I think, even though they are not showing the data, but today their brand must be valued at above 50 crore rupees, which is a very big number for any brand. Even though you did all of these things, still the scalability is the challenge, and for that they had to face 5 challenges that they have to actually move upon and tackle them. The first is add a lot of dependency on ads. In the you can say, in the initial stages, they did so much amount of regressive marketing that now they have to actually depend on and maintain that spending on the marketing to maintain the brand visibility. In the second, a lot of competition is arising in this market. A lot of brands are spending regressively in this segment and for marketing their product, like brands like Mama Earth and various others. And in the third, we have, you can say, product differentiation. They have to maintain their product, they have to maintain their differentiation of the product and the niche. They have to hold their niche, but to keep on differentiating from the market to actually scale their product. And in the fourth, we have the production channel, the distribution channel, you can say. Like, they have to build the distribution channel and strengthen that. And in the fifth, they have to उनको खड़ा उतरना पड़ेगा in, you can say, in actually providing the results through their product. Even though you have a good product, a great product, and if you are not solving or giving a results to the people, you can say, in the way that you have talked about, no one is actually gonna buy your product. And mark my words, it is actually true. No one out there, your product will not exist in the market. No one is gonna buy you. So you really have to, you can say, be very critical, and to actually when you are thinking how you are actually, you can say, what is your niche, when you are deciding what is your niche and how you are actually gonna market your product, because the world will see your product in the same way that you have marketed it for. The world will value your product in the way that you have marketed it. So at the end of the day, it's not the story that it's not the product that you are selling, it's the story that you are selling. Like in this case, they sold the story of Ayurveda and modern science. And these are the things, that the challenges that they have to face in the coming years. So let's find out and hope for the best for Ghar Soaps, and let's find out, is it actually a revolutionary product for the market or just a marketed hype. Now, if this is very much clear to you, let's move on the next segment, which is what are the insights, business insights that we get from this, and what are the learning that we can actually get from this and implement, and how we can actually implement these learnings in our own businesses. So there are 5 major learnings and insights that we get from this case study of Ghar Soap. The very first is that niche. By holding the hands of and focusing on the niche part, you can actually enter in any sort of competitive market. Niche is very important. Like we have seen in this situation, like they hold one niche and they just went into a very competitive market. So you have to focus on the niche, like what you are actually gonna do. And for niche part, you have to think of something that the most of the brands out there are ignoring in their product. In the second, you have to think differently. There is one quote now that successful people don't do different thing. They do the same thing in a different way. So in the same way, like we have seen the example of these two brothers, they didn't created something in the market that was not like you can say that didn't exist. They created something that most of the people faced challenges of which, and they just thought about that. So why not create why not make it easy for every person out there? In the third, you have to think in the manner that story sells. Like in this case, they sold their product, they marketed their product in a type of story of combining the Ayurveda and the modern science. Fourth, influencers over celebrities. The coming startups are actually favoring the new influencers, because in a way they are able to manage their finances with working with the influencers and running their ads on on platforms like Instagram and Facebook, which would be by like very cost efficient for them. And this is very much true for that. No brand in today's era should go with the celebrities. If you have scaled your company, then you can actually go with work with celebrities. And in the fifth, sustainability of D2C. You have to focus on the various terms that is actually very बहुत ही घातक है आपके business के लिए. You can say in a way like those things that you might ignore in your product, in your business, in your company, and which would cost you a lot in the future. So don't ignore any of the terms, because no one knows how badly it's gonna affect your company. So with this, we come to the end of the complete case study of Ghar Soaps. In this video, we found that Ghar Soaps actually proved the fact that any person who has a strong focus on the niche can actually enter in any sort of competitive market, and after entering, they just have to spread their arms and legs around to actually create a very big brand. So this was the video. I hope you liked this video. If you got something valuable from this video, do comment down. Also, do like, share and subscribe to reach to more people, to promote this video to most of the people out there who actually need this video. So that's it for the day. Thank you. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.